So I think the most important thing, hopefully, that we'll talk about next year is, are we actually preparing the people who work for us? At the end of the day, this is a people, culture eats strategy. People are the engine of change. Are we actually preparing our people and taking it really seriously to help us compete in a new landscape, which will be driven by innovation?
We compete in very competitive industries, and so we're very much focused on the consumer and really asking ourselves every day, how can we meet their needs better than all of the other choices? For us, it means providing great food and beverages at a good value in a convenient, fast, and friendly environment. So it all begins with the consumer, and how can we do a better job of providing them with what they want?
I think if you think about innovation in media at the moment, that tends to be looking at what we've been doing and trying to make it better. For me, what we're trying to do at Assembly is to actually take that a little bit differently. We actually employed a guy who is our entrepreneur in residence, and that's a phrase that's not really used in media, but it is used in VC, and it is used in the world of academia. And his job is literally to go and find out the things we don't know about, and to go and look in the ad tech world, to go and look at first round seed capital businesses and say, these guys are doing something that might be relevant to our business. Let's go and see how we can use those kind of technologies to support the kind of things we need to do to connect to people.
Yeah, the big focus and what we see that's so exciting is a lot of organizational transformation, both inside the media owner organization and also inside the ad holding companies, to embrace the changes that automation is bringing.
I think being in this business a long time, there are always what I call flavors du jour. So one of the big topics that everybody's talking about is content marketing. It's a big subject, and brands want to be publishers, and everybody wants to be in the content space. And I think what will happen over the next year is there'll be a separation, that content providers and people who produce content, people like us, will be the ones who will win in that game, because we have the expertise and the skill and the knowledge, and working with a lot of our business partners. So I think you'll see a refinement on the content marketing side. I also think that you'll see with a lot of the new things happening in digital, like viewability and the bifurcation of the market between programmatic and digital native, I think for those of us who are in the content business, you'll see some really exciting new ad product in the rich media space, in the native space, that will move us further along in terms of capturing and keeping return visitors onto our websites. So I think those are a couple of things that are going to be big themes in the next year.
I think in the next year, my word over the next year is pivot. I think that entrepreneurs use the word pivot all the time, and it's really about what I'm in a certain space. I need to pivot in order to make my business relevant for where the marketplace is going.
One of the things that we're really focused on this year is guaranteed pricing models. We all know that there's historically been a lot of, quote, waste in the advertising industry, and there's a big movement to only have advertisers pay when they know that a consumer is truly engaging. And based on that, I think that the theme for next year's conference would be ROI.
It's not always perhaps the sexiest aspect of what we do, but oftentimes the most progressive, the most aggressive marketers are making decisions around large-scale investments based on various data points, and our ability to dive deep on data today is been accelerated. It's further along than it's ever been. So I think that that crescendo point of data's informing the way we spend dollars in traditional media types is the one that's coming around the bend.
I think next year, one of the many conversations may be more about appropriate time marketing, delivering the right message to the right person at the right time in a certain context, and that might be native advertising. And we could be talking a lot more about native advertising because it works really well on mobile. It could be the next iteration of real-time marketing. It could be technology and real-time bidding and exchanges and how that's working with programmatic buying. It could be anything. I think what we'll be talking about is getting closer and closer and closer to the appropriate time and message that you need to deliver to the consumer.
So I think the big thing that we're going to be focusing on at Time Inc. and in my ad products team specifically is really just the consumer. How do we find these individuals, and how do we deliver not only our content, but also our partners' marketing messages to those platforms at scale, and then measure and be able to tell our clients what the results were of those campaigns and whether we brought the ROI that they were looking for.